what makes me think this is gonna be the one that knocks me. I don't ever feel like that. What up, everybody? You are back in tune with another episode of In the Fields podcast. It is your host, Johnny, with my lovely wife, soon-to-be wife.
Again.
Actually is my wife now, Lisa.
That was
and yeah, man,
so long.
you guys are back. Yeah, man, we're just so happy to even be able to be doing this. And shout out to all the feelers that are tuned in. You guys definitely are part of the motivation that keeps us going.
Yeah,
you know
we
what I mean?
love y'all.
Yeah, you guys definitely be showing love,
The
especially
support
on,
is
especially
phenomenal.
on like TikTok. I mean, even the views. I'll be seeing everybody just kind of tuned in, and I just love it. You know what I mean? I love the feedback, and of course, you know, we have some trolls out there, but you know,
Those are hilarious.
I will dedicate a segment to them once I compile enough of their nonsense. I will dedicate a segment to them, and
I feel like overall it's more positive than anything.
Oh yeah, it's
though.
definitely more positive. Couple funny people, but it's mostly love, man. But you know, what do you expect, man?
The internet be a crazy place.
The internet is a crazy place. But yeah, man, we're back with another episode. We're almost to episode 20. We're like, I think 2 or 3 episodes away.
That's so crazy
Hell yeah, man.
to me.
So yeah, man, we're almost there. But on this episode, guys, we are going to take a deep dive into something I'm pretty sure everybody here can relate to. And I mean, hangovers, man, but not just any kind of hangovers.
The emotional kind.
The emotional ones, man. The ones that really leave you feeling like your cup is fucking empty.
Yeah.
And sometimes those hangovers just...
Not even a drop.
Yeah, those hangovers come with symptoms just like every hangover, you know what I mean? But on today's episode, I wanted to start it with an AA meeting.
Perfect.
We have, you know, we always open and invite people to share with us so that this way we can share our perspectives, because a lot of the time, I think we've said it in other episodes where, you know, not everybody is really up for the whole leap of faith when it comes to jumping into therapy. But I know a lot of people utilize not just our podcast, but like other podcasts, even bigger ones.
Oh, for sure.
You know,
I have.
They utilize it as like their daily listens, their positive affirmations. And I like this segment because it opens up the connection between us and our listeners and allows us to really just, you know, really see what's going on out there. And again, guys, you never know when the why in your story is silent and it becomes our story. So whenever you guys are vulnerable enough to share with us and, you know, and give us the ability to share it with our, you know, the rest of the listeners, the rest of the feelers that are tuned in, you just never know when something that you could be going through, somebody else is going through. And the advice that even we're willing to offer to one individual could be touching the hearts of many. So
I like that.
It's great, man. It's great. I love this. So yeah, let me get into it. Again, guys, our AA meeting, for any of the new listeners that are tuned in, it's our anonymous advice meeting where one of our listeners will send in a situation that they're going through that kind of pertains to the episode and what we have going on here. So we listen or we share that situation or the story of whatever it is that they're going through, and then we kind of dissect it and go into it and give, you know, and offer our best advice from both perspectives, so that this way, you know, hopefully we can, you know, help them get through whatever it is they're going through, help them develop healthier habits, whatever the case is. You know, we genuinely just want a positive outcome from it. That's our biggest goal, is just, you know, pushing positivity and, you know, just providing that safe space here for people to feel comfortable to share, because a lot of the time, again, people harbor a lot of stuff that they don't talk about, and we want to give them that space where they feel
heard,
safe and heard. Yeah. So yeah, man, let's get into it. So on today's episode, we're going to deep dive again into the emotional hangovers. And in our AA meeting, here is what was submitted to us. Hey, Lisa and Johnny, I'm a mom of 2, ages 4 and 7, and I honestly didn't expect parenthood to come with this much emotional whiplash. A few nights ago, I totally lost it on my oldest. He wasn't listening, it was late, and I was exhausted, and I snapped. Not just a raised voice. I said things I immediately regretted. Nothing cruel, but harsh enough that I saw his face change. After I put them to bed, I sat on the bathroom floor and I cried hard. The next day, I had what I now know is an emotional hangover. I was still rattled, still ashamed, and everything felt heavy. My partner said, "It happens." But it didn't help. I couldn't stop thinking, what if this is what they remember? It's weird. No one talks about the emotional wreckage that can come from the normal, hard parenting moments, the guilt, the fear that you're screwing it all up, and then trying to carry on like nothing happened because kids still need breakfast. I guess my question is, how do you forgive yourself in those moments? How do you move through the emotional hangover without making it your child's emotional burden too?
Mm.
Thanks for giving a name to this. It helps to know that I'm not the only one who crashes after the chaos.
Hmm.
Pretty dope, right?
I've definitely been there. I've definitely, had moments where I cried after the fact and felt like I just ruined my child's whole entire life. But I feel like that's just normal as parents. Like, you are your biggest critic just in general in life. So I think when you feel or know that you maybe didn't handle a situation correctly, especially with your little ones, that can be so triggering to the fact of like, I'm failing. And I think it just draws back and takes away from all the good that you do. I think what one key important thing to remember is yes, there is a possibility your child may remember it. However, majority of the time, I bet you 9 times out of 10, you're doing the best that you can. You're enjoying the time with your kids, and your kids are more likely going to remember the majority of things versus the smaller amount of things. So I think realistically, when you're dealing with that the next day, because that's what it is, like an emotional hangover is just the residue seeping into the next day. So what you could do instead of like harboring in that and just like sulking in it, try to do something fun with your kid. Or even have like a conversation like, hey, like I'm really sorry that, I said that yesterday, or that's how I handled the situation. I didn't mean to, and that wasn't okay. And just, use your words. Kids are very resilient and they understand a lot more than you think they do. But we've talked about it so many times, like communication is key. So sometimes maybe that's all you need is to just apologize for how you handled the situation. We're all human. We're still learning. Like you said, there's no rule book to this. So as long as you're putting your best foot forward and you're constantly doing your best and trying, that's all you could really do sometimes. So I don't really know. I feel like that's like kind of how I've handled situations where I've sat Maya down and I've just talked to her. Like, hey,
Yeah.
I'm really sorry. Like, I shouldn't have yelled at you like that. That wasn't fair to you. Or like I would plan something the next day like, hey, let's just spend some one-on-one time together. Let's try to like change the emotional environment. Let's try to flood it with something more positive, more fun. You know what I mean?
Hmm. Yeah, no, I feel you 100%. I think I've been there like vividly, like even reading that, I got a
Yeah.
little emotional for a second because I've been there. Like I know exactly what that's like to where you snap and immediately regret it after, and it kind of lingers with you
Mm-hmm.
because at least for me personally, it's something where when I get to that moment where I do snap, it's very reflective of like moments of my childhood where like
Yeah.
I see how people handle conflict resolution and things of that nature, which again, when you're having a situation with your kid where, it's a parent kid conflict, conflict resolution is still very important and how you handle that is still very important because it's either going to be something you learn, you know what I mean, you learn from, or it's going to be something that,
Keeps happening.
yeah, that it just kind of keeps happening and it just continues to be a problem, you know what I mean? In this instance where, she just felt the guilt of snapping on her kid and just saying something kind of off the wall, whatever it was, you know, emotions get the best of us all the time.
Mm-hmm.
And we learn in these moments the fact that you're able to even feel the guilt and feel like you did something wrong, like you clearly have a good moral compass.
Yeah.
So I think it's within these moments that we need to not so much associate them with failure or so associate them so much with I fucked up, but more or less think of it like, what can I do better the next time this
Like a growth
happens? Yeah,
factor.
this can't. And I think Tyler Perry said it the best. I saw a clip from him the other day that he said, I never once failed in my life. I've never once have I failed. And he's like, any time that I didn't accomplish whatever it was that I was going to, or like anytime like I ran into a wall, or like what anybody would consider a failure, for me it was just like running into a wall, like a dead end at a maze. All it did was
Reroute you.
reroute me to still get to the
Yeah.
right path. Like
I like that.
that's all it was. I never failed. All I did was I went down the wrong path of the maze. I hit that wall, and now I just gotta backtrack a little bit and go take a different path. And I pivot, and it's almost like on some, like when one door closes, another one opens kind of
Yeah.
deal. So it's like, these are the moments that you have to think of like that. You have to, what my wife would always say is give yourself grace, because there is no set book for this. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Parenting is hard.
There is nothing that is written in a book that can really prepare you for this. So every situation is unique. And again, communication is key. If you feel like your kid is able to have the capacity to understand you breaking it down for them, then do so. Grant them the same conversation that you would grant somebody else whose feelings you've hurt.
Yeah.
I think the younger the person is, the more palpable you have to make it.
Well, yeah.
So, like when I talk to my son, whenever I go to do something, like, I'm very big on like kind of trying to paint the picture of him as if he was in the situation. So like, like how would you feel if this and this happened, but very more simplistic, like something that a 7-year-old may experience. So I'm very big on doing that with my son. Like this way he can kind of understand
Yeah.
or how it translates into the situation that I'm dealing with as an adult. You know what I mean? So, and I do apologize to my kids whenever I'm out of pocket. So
Taking that accountability, I think, is huge,
it's
even for kids.
it's also showing them though too that you can have big emotions, but when you don't manage them properly or they do get out of hand,
This is what it could look like.
that this is what it can look like, and you have to hold yourself accountable when that happens. Because
Yeah.
trust me, your kids will also throw what we as adults call temper tantrums.
Yeah.
And that's when they have big emotions that cause them to do things that aren't necessarily in line with their,
Yeah.
with their day-to-day moral shit. You know what I mean? So I think this the biggest thing is to just try to turn this into a moment where it's not swept under the rug.
Yeah.
It needs to be something that if you feel this strongly about it, that it is causing an emotional hangover, then it requires correction.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It would be the same way that if I drank way too much last night and I wake up the next day feeling like shit, then I know the problem is the fact that I drank way too much last night. You know what I'm saying? So then the next time I go out, I go, okay, that by the time I had 4 vodka Red Bulls, I was done. We're gonna keep it to 2 tonight. You know what I'm saying? Like, and again, it's not to say that like for her instance, like, yeah, sometimes yeah, you might have to yell at your kid. Like sometimes you might have to, speak sternly to them, or sometimes you might have to discipline them. Like that's still all okay within moderation, and but again, in her case, she was like, yo, I just kind of got a little
Yeah, but
too
I think
much.
using it as a teachable moment is crucial. Because,
Yeah.
like, as kids, they're still in that learning phase of life. Like, they don't really, I don't think, comprehend or understand things the way that we do. They can't even think logically for
Yeah,
themselves.
most of it is
So
emotionally
when they're
based.
acting a certain type of way, or they're like persistently doing something that's just like getting to your last nerve, and then you do end up snapping, I think it's important to, like you said, have that open communication to like break it down for them, especially like in a simplistic way where they will understand better, or like painting the picture for them, because now you're put in a position where you can create some type of knowledge for them of like, But also, like, I think when you have like these emotional hangovers and stuff, you could also like recount your steps and see like what happened leading up to you snapping. Like, what was it that last straw for you? Like, you know what I mean? But then also look into like ways, for example, like for us, when we know that we're getting to that point, we do that tap in, tap out thing. Like, okay, I need you to take over. Like, I need a minute to step away because, like, I know I'm getting to that point where I'm about to lose my shit. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? Like, try to find healthy alternatives in your home with your partner of how you guys could do that parenting thing if you do need to step away for a second or.
And again, we didn't start implementing that until we were looking at situations similar to this
Yep.
one where we had already crossed the bridge.
Yep, we already made those.
We already made the mistake, and it was,
Yeah.
yo, like, moving forward, this is what I'm going to do. I mean, it's even gotten to the point now where I've had a whole conversation with my son of, hey, how could I show up better for you as a father? Like, how could I be a better dad?
I like that.
And his thing was, I don't really like when you yell at me. Like, it would be better if you didn't yell at me. And then we had our agreement of, all right, cool. Well, listen, I'm not going to yell, but you also have to be the one to show me that my words work. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah.
I don't want to have to yell for you to listen. So if I speak, then it's a two-way street. We got to work together because teamwork makes the fucking dream work.
Yeah.
So, yeah, man. And honestly, that's been going super fucking well. Like, to the point where, like, I don't even remember the last time I really had to yell at my kids
Me neither.
like that. It's been a minute.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, man, that would be the advice I would give her. I would just say, try to structure these moments into teachable moments. Yes, the emotional hangover and the guilt that follows suit the next day, the way that I would remedy that would be very similar to, again, it would be very similar to what I would say you could do the same day, which is, take time to reach out to your kid, sit with your kid, apologize. Hey, I'm very sorry that mommy had big emotions yesterday and I shouldn't have said these things and XYZ.
And I think your kid's going to remember that more than what actually happened.
Again, because now you're showing your kid that, yo, sometimes people can't control their emotions.
Mm-hmm.
That's not okay. The goal should always be to try to regulate and manage your emotions in a healthy way. Yeah. And if I don't apologize and I don't show you it's not okay, you gonna think you can do the same shit whenever you feel your big feelings.
Yeah.
So again, that's exactly what I would do.
Yeah, I like that.
Cool, man. Yo, and that was a great I guess, scenario that was sent in. We encourage everybody else who's listening, guys, send your stuff in, man. You like I said, you guys never know when the why in your story is silent and it becomes our story, because this one I could relate to like
heavily.
Super heavily. Yeah, man. But yeah, before we get into the rest of our episode, let's give them a word from our sponsors.
All right, guys, you already know what it is. Introducing Oolalade.
The best lemonade. Not only in the 610, not only in the Lehigh Valley, not only in Pennsylvania, not only in the Northeast Hemisphere of the United States of America, not only in America, not only in North America, not only in this continent, but in this entire world. I'm not going to lie. Every single time we've driven around the area this summer, and I've seen these adorable, cute little kids selling lemonade. Every single time, I've said pretty loudly in my car, yo, fuck your lemonade, Oolalade or die, because this is it. This is it. If you're not selling Oola, then you're not making moolah. Let's be honest. It is the best lemonade, guys. Made with love, fresh squeezed. Shout out to La Shells.
Yeah.
Literally, bro.
It's growing more and more. I see it on people's stories now all the time.
Bro, I be
like,
seeing bottles in Allentown, just like driving through the city. You'll just see an empty bottle somewhere of just Oola. And I'm like,
yeah,
my guy's doing it. But yeah, man,
Love
he is
that.
everywhere now, man. Even all the way out to Reading, which is crazy. I mean, even in the Valley League, I've seen him at the Wee different football games. I'm pretty sure I've seen him at the Tipsy's Car Wash. He's been fucking killing it, and so proud of them and their growth. And again, guys, Oolalade, the only drink sponsor of In the Fields podcast, and the most amazing drink sponsor. I mean, it's the bee's knees, guys.
So delish.
Other than that, though, back to our episode. And we are back with another
Back,
episode of In
back,
the Fields
back.
podcast. Again, guys, we're taking a deep dive into the emotional hangovers because they are just as exhausting as any other hangover I've ever experienced.
Super exhausting.
For the people who are tuned in and who may not be necessarily familiar with what an emotional hangover is, how would you define that, my love?
It's just like I said earlier, like the residue of your emotional situation transferring into that next day, and it just lingers with you like a dark little cloud of like reminders of what happened the day prior. Because I think when you get to a point of being really good at emotionally regulating, you may have an easier time the next day where your hangover may not feel as intense or it doesn't last as long or whatever the case is. But I think when you still are trying to figure out your emotions and where they stem from or what your triggers are, whatever the case is, it can be daunting and it could feel pretty significant. Like I was talking to you about like the emotional detox kit and finding things that help you navigate those emotions the next day and how to better feel and stuff like that. Like I saw somebody was saying like it could be as simple as drinking water and
Yeah,
just
like
resting.
supposedly you can handle emotional hangovers very similar to how you would handle like an alcohol hangover.
Yeah, water, rest, take time for yourself. But it could also be like simple things like journaling, listening to certain music that uplifts you, makes you feel better.
Tuning into In the Fields podcast every Wednesday at 7 a.m.
I like what you did there.
Sorry, shameless plug.
That was smooth.
Hell yeah.
Or even just using communication, talking to a trusted person and, being vulnerable and getting out what it is you are feeling and leaving that door open to getting some advice or some help in navigating what you're going through if it is too intense for you.
Yeah, I mean, like you said, to kind of piggyback off of that was, again, for you guys who don't know what an emotional hangover is, like my wife said, it's just the residue or the residual from any previous intense, moment that you might have been through, whether it could be an argument with a loved one, like our anonymous advice meeting,
Yeah.
just like an interaction with your child that caught you in the wrong time, kind of like the straw that kind of breaks the camel's back, and then, the
Your big emotions.
the after effects, of that, you know what I mean, the post emotional distress, if you will, you know what I mean, and I think resilience to me is kind of how quick you can kind of get back to baseline in those moments. And I know
I've always envied you.
I know that I was going to say, I know that's where we differ a lot because
Yep.
when we have like a disagreement or even an argument, let's say, because we don't really argue much anymore.
Not
It's
anymore.
very seldom. So when we have our disagreements, like I'll realize you're always asking like, "Babe, is everything okay? Like, are we good?" Like, and I'm like, "Yeah, dude, yeah, that was like an hour ago. Like, we're still doing this." And you're like,
It'd be a whole
"I know, but
day
it's just
later.
like, I just like, I love you very much, and
I feel really bad.
I just feel so bad, and like, I just want to make sure that we're okay." I'm like, "Baby, we're fine. Like, we're good. Like, I'm straight. Like, am I getting over it, or am I kind of already over it? Yeah, like, we're good. Let's move forward." So, but again, there's moments where I also can't do that. You know what I mean? There's moments where I too have that.
It's like
I'm fucking
situational.
depressed. Yeah, I'm very fucking like not depressed, but I'm very like I'm out of it. I'm drained. You've seen that where I'm just
You're
like
just feeling
I'll just
off.
take a day off of work. You're like, "Oh, you're home?" I'm like, "Yeah, dude. I couldn't fucking do it today, bro. I really couldn't."
Yeah.
I just know that me being there would be more or less me like not really being there. Like my body's there, but I'm not there. So
Yeah, you checked out.
yeah, so
Because it could come in different forms just like that. Like, it's either you're just feeling super emotional from the day before, you're feeling really regretful or sorry from the day before, you're just feeling burnt out or tired or depleted. Like, I know one of my biggest things that I feel the next day, like one of my biggest hangover symptoms that I always have is if I cried the day prior,
You tired.
the headache and the exhaustion that I feel the next day is so intense that I feel like I can't even function sometimes.
Yeah, crying is tiring. I can't front. Like that's definitely one of the things that I feel like makes me super duper tired is if I
My
do
eyes
cry.
hurt. Like,
Yeah, bro, it's definitely a lot. But yeah, man, those emotional hangovers, dude, they'll put you out, you know. They'll definitely drain you, and it's hard to kind of pinpoint it, but also when you're able to and you don't succumb to it, you're able to kind of figure out those remedies, like you said, like kind of like that detox kit that we were talking about, where it's like, okay, you have to get into the healthy
habits.
recovery habits of those moments because you're gonna experience, I think everybody's gonna experience an emotional hangover, you know, at some point in their life, whether it be, you know, today or, you know, tomorrow or at some point in your
Any
life.
point,
Yeah, it's
yeah.
gonna happen. So how you prepare for that or how you manage it is really a true sign of, you know, how aware you are and how in tune you are with yourself, because
Yeah.
some people just let that shit rock them for time. Like it's
Yeah,
almost like they just let it rock until something good happens. And then I'm like,
literally.
yo, bro, like,
I've been there.
yeah, you gotta pull yourself out of this shit.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Like waiting or waiting for the world to pull you out of it or for the world to
Mm-hmm.
grant it to you again is like you're almost like letting go of your power to restore yourself to baseline. Like you can't expect to build resilience if you're not able to
Yeah.
do it for yourself, because
I love that.
happiness is kind of like
It's from
it's in here,
within.
you know what I
Yeah.
mean? So, you know, I think it's just so important to know that the emotional hangovers are going to happen, and now that we know that that's like a real thing, and now that we kind of have like it's defined, we know that it's going to happen. Now how do we prepare for that? How do we
Mhm.
minimize the effects of this? Because again, it's going to happen, but my sister always said, like, you know, if you're going to party with the big boys and girls, you got to get up with the big boys and girls. And that kind of applies to this as well. Like, I don't want to say that you're partying, but it's like, you know, when your emotions are doing it big, you know what I mean? Like, guess what? The next day, you still got to get up. You still got to go to work. You still have
Yeah.
priorities. Your kids still need breakfast, like our anonymous advice meeting said. Like, how do you do that knowing that your kids, like, that's part of it. You know what I mean? Part of it is managing it in a healthy way
Yeah.
that allows you not to put your priorities to the side.
Yeah. And I grant it, like, if things are too overwhelming in the moment, like, as long as it's not like a habitual thing that you're doing or you're using it as a scapegoat or like an excuse, you can schedule yourself some time. Like, go get your nails done, go get a haircut, go, with $100 and buy yourself something. Like, pour into you, spend some time with you if that's what is absolutely necessary, depending on like how big the situation might be or how bad the hangover might be. Like, that might be something you need to do. But I love how you pointed that out, because that was me, where I would linger in something for days on end, not knowing what was happening to me. I just knew I was still sad, or I was still hurt, or I was still upset, So, like everything, it just all ties into each other, of just learning how to be self aware, how to learn how to regulate your emotions, and how to pick them apart and learn your triggers, and finding a detox kit of some sort to help you navigate or help you to overcome, or whatever the case is. But like, knowing these things, you can have a bad day, have a bad moment, feel it the next day, but maybe you're more aware now of like, this is just from yesterday. I'm feeling something still from yesterday. I know that now. What can I do in this moment that's going to bring me some type of joy to keep helping me get over this?
Yeah, and it's a matter of not, again, like letting it linger longer than it has
You
to.
can't dwell in it.
If you know, it's like letting a fucking baby shit their pants and not changing the diaper, dude. You know what I mean? It's gonna do more harm than good.
Mm.
Granted, you want to be lazy about it and you want to fucking let it sit. You know, sit in your shit. If that's what you're gonna do, you want to sit in your fucking shit. Fine, sit in your fucking shit. But dude, we gotta change the fucking. We gotta
Gotta
change.
get you cleaned up.
You gotta clean this up. You know what I mean? Like you have a responsibility to yourself
Yeah.
to fucking. I'm not saying there aren't moments where you have to sit in your shit. Sometimes you need to. Sometimes you need to shit in
It's
your shit,
important sometimes.
especially if it's self-inflicted.
Mm-hmm.
I highly recommend sitting in your shit for a little bit just to really be like, yo, I don't know why I'm doing this shit to myself.
Yeah.
But there are going to be emotional situations that aren't necessarily self-inflicted, whether it's,
Life.
again, life, arguments, parenting, friendships,
Work.
whatever, work, whatever the fuck it is. There are going to be other instances that are emotionally draining, and in those instances, we can't really dwell or focus
Yeah.
on the problem at hand or the mess that may be occurring. The only thing you can do is be very forward thinking, be very, you know, okay, what do we do from here? You
Yeah,
know what
like
I'm
how
saying?
can I change this? How can I improve it? Do I
Yeah.
have to change my scenery? Do I have to change the people I'm
How do we
around? Do I
clean up
have
the
to change my
mess?
job?
How do we clean up the mess? You know what I mean?
Do I
Like,
have to apologize? Like,
yeah.
just asking yourself certain questions based off of the situation or the scenario. Like, something might have to change,
hmm
and that's okay.
Yeah, and I think too, there being, implementing, and it obviously changes from case to case, but implementing good communication helps too. Like in the instances that like me and you may have issues, what am I doing that's bothering you? How can okay, that's what cool. Let me change it.
Yeah.
It's making the conscious decision to go, okay, well, let's work together to avoid these. Because again, they're unavoidable. Like you're not gonna not have emotional situations, but what you can do is show up to those emotional situations more prepared.
Yeah.
You can show up with the tools and
The
the skills
knowledge.
and the know-how to navigate them to avoid the emotional hangovers. You know what I mean? Or to soften them.
Yeah.
Maybe the emotional hangover now isn't something that keeps you in bed for 3 days with the fucking shades closed and you're sitting in the dark eating pints of ice cream watching Love Island. Maybe now you can
Still function.
still get up the next morning. You maybe be at 80%, but now you know how to manage it and kind of get back closer to baseline to where you're able to not necessarily let your priorities drag or let the life that
You
doesn't
want.
stop,
Yeah.
because the time doesn't stop, life doesn't stop. Tomorrow's still going to show up, but are you going to show up?
Yeah. I
Because that's
think
the thing. If you're blessed to see tomorrow, then you better take
you already
advantage.
won.
You better fucking take advantage of that opportunity to show up and be better than you were yesterday.
Yeah.
That's literally should be everybody's only goal is to wake up and try to be better than yourself, better than the person you were yesterday.
Yeah, I think that's one of the hardest things to accept sometimes is the fact that life doesn't stop. Like the worst thing possible could happen to you, and guess what? Life is going to still go on. Duties still have to be met. Like tasks still have to be taken care of. Like a lot of the time for some people, they don't have time to just take. You know what I mean? And I think that's one of the hardest things a lot of people struggle with is like, I don't have the fucking time to deal with this right now. And then it's like, great, I feel the emotions of this going on, but like, what am I supposed to do about it? You know what I mean? And then it causes increased stress, increased anxiety, like all these things that you now have to deal with. But if you really work towards learning the tools and doing research and figuring it out, when you come across those situations, it might not be as bad.
Yeah, man. And I think that's just essential to, making those hangovers, those emotional hangovers, either at least non-existent or at least a million times more tolerable.
Yeah.
Because they're gonna happen. You know what I mean? We're all gonna go through emotional shit. It's
We're
unavoidable.
human.
Yeah, I mean, again,
You can't turn emotion off,
I mean,
unfortunately.
yeah, it's just not gonna happen, and you can't stop. The canon emotional events in your life that are going to occur. They're gonna occur.
I feel
You know
like,
what I mean?
well, all of that happens for a reason. Like, I am a firm believer that, like, it's not being done to you maliciously. Like,
Yeah.
there's a purpose for everything that you experience in life. Granted, how you handle it or how you decide to deal with the situation and process it, that's on you. But that event happened for a reason, whether it was to bless you with something, teach you about something, like help you grow in some way by teaching you patience or, respect or understanding. Like, I feel like everything has its own purpose. Even if in the moment it doesn't feel like it because it feels very unfair. Like, why is this happening to me? This shouldn't be happening to me.
Yeah.
It's there because you may not know in that moment, but 5, 10 years from now, oh, now it makes sense. I'm kind of glad that happened. Because if it were not for that, I wouldn't know this or I wouldn't have this. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, I think it's just switching your perspective all around of like what it is you went through.
Yeah. That's dope, man. I like that.
Yeah.
What's up? You want to get into our questions?
Yeah, you want to go first?
Sure. I'll go first this time.
Ooh.
All right. Let's take it. Let's take again to here. For all the feelers that are tuned in, it is question time. And for all of the new people that are tuned in, this is the time where we take a moment to ask each other engaging questions
Yep.
that pertain to the topic of every episode. This episode, again, is about the emotional hangovers. So I will go first. And my first question is, what do you wish someone had said to you the first time you experienced an emotional hangover?
That it's okay to not be okay. Simple as that. It's okay to not be okay. How can I help? What is it exactly that you're feeling? Just asking me pertinent questions. Because when you're so emotionally driven, you don't think with logic. So when you're in those moments and you're not being asked the proper questions, or you're not even asking yourself the proper questions, that can result in you dwelling in it and staying in it for days on end because you can't figure out what it is that needs to get out of this situation. You know what I mean? Because you're so stuck in the emotional part of things. And if you're not being, guided in some way, whether it be from somebody else or even yourself, your likelihood of staying in that is going to be higher. So I think matching your emotion with logic is probably one of the best first steps of figuring it out.
I like that. That's good, man.
Thanks.
What you got for me?
Okay. So, how do you communicate to others? For example, like me, your friends, family, whoever you're speaking to, when you're in the midst of an emotional hangover? Do you need space, comfort, or just understanding in those moments?
I mean, a lot of the time, it's really just understanding in those moments. I don't necessarily ask for comfort in those moments, but I also don't ask for space in those moments either. Like, and that's something you'll ask me too. Like, whenever I'm feeling something or I'm going through something, you're like, "Do you want me to leave you alone? Do you want me to not be around? Do you want me to do it?" I'm like, "Dude, it's not that I need anything. I just to be heard. That's it. Heard and understood. That's it. And if I really genuinely need something, if it's space or anything like that, like I'll voice that because again, I'm just so quick to getting back to baseline. Like when I'm going through emotional shit,
You are.
I'm very quick to tell myself that it will be okay. I'm like,
Yeah.
yo, listen, I've survived 100% of the bad shit I've been through. I literally have yet to miss, my guy. So for me to not have faith in myself or
Yeah.
faith in my God that I'm going to get through this shit, I would be stupid to not have faith in myself. That's why I'm so quick to get back to baseline because I'm like, bro, I've already survived 100% of the bad shit I've been through.
Yeah.
What makes me think I'm going to miss now? Could you imagine being a basketball player who's never missed a shot in his life?
Yeah.
Nigga, give me the ball. I don't care. I'm sick. Pass it. I still have yet to miss, bro. Give me the ball. So I just again, I think when it comes to communicating with my friends or my family, like I will express what I'm going through if, if I feel like I need to get it off of my chest, but not much that I need. I'll never be on some like, oh, I need a hug or like, that's not like what I need in those moments. I need to just be heard and just let it off if I need to say it, and I'm gonna get through it. That's it. We got shit to do.
I kind of like how our questions played off each other because, like, what I said as my answer for your first one is basically what you said. Like, you talk yourself off the ledge. Like, you reason with yourself when it comes to logic.
Yeah, and it's just I'm a very logical person about it. I go,
Mm-hmm.
bro, based on the stats here, based on the numbers,
Yeah.
and numbers don't lie. I've survived 100% of the bad shit that I've been through.
Yeah.
So it's like whenever I get into a situation, I'm like, what makes me think this is gonna be the one that
Yeah.
knocks me? I don't ever feel like that. Do I feel like shit in certain situations? Sure, because there's usually some sort of domino effect for me with situations.
The worst is when it's back to back to back to
Yeah,
back bad
or it's
things.
like one shitty thing makes a bunch of other shitty things happen. Like,
Mm-hmm.
so it's like that's the only time that like I would say like I ever like dwell on it or even have like a sort of emotional hangover, if you will, is like when it's still lingering, when the problem hasn't necessarily resolved itself, but I know it's something that's going to resolve itself in time. So again,
Yeah.
I don't let it absorb or consume me. I'm very much like, it's cool. We got this. Like, we're going to get through this. It's cool.
Mm-hmm.
It's fine. You know what I mean? I'm very much like that. Sometimes I feel like the dog sitting in the house.
I
Like
was
the
gonna
gif
say,
who's
you're
like,
the
he's just sitting in the fire
everything
and
is
he's like,
fine. Everything is fine.
he's like, it's fine. I'm going to put it right here so everybody can see it. But yeah, fuck it. You know what I mean? Like, that's how I be feeling sometimes, dude.
Yeah, we
So,
definitely handle chaos way differently.
hell yeah. All right, man. Yeah, that was good. That was a good question. Yeah, definitely. We're two totally different people.
I'm
You'll,
more
you'll
of
be like
the
3 days stuck on something. You're like, "Yeah, you still love me, right? I'm like, yes, baby. Why? I still feel really bad.
I need to make sure.
Yeah, just
Double check
just
it.
double check it. All right, I got one. Ready?
Yeah.
All right. What role do you think self-compassion plays in healing emotional hangovers?
It's huge. You gotta give yourself some grace, dude.
I knew you would like that question.
Yeah, because like you have to be patient with yourself and understanding that you cannot avoid life's adversities and bad things because bad things just happen. You're not this super lucky, perfect person where nothing bad ever happens to you. That's so unrealistic. You have to take the good with the bad and you have to give yourself the grace to understand that you're going to mess up. You have to mess up in order to learn. There is no, like you said, there is no failure. Like you may have dropped the ball or you may have made a mistake, but that was a learning experience for you to, okay, I know what I did in that situation is not how I needed to do it. So I need to try a different alternative method the next time to see if I get it right then. Everything is a learning and teachable moment, and it's what you do with that that matters. You got to give yourself some grace, give yourself some compassion, give yourself some patience, and just continue to pour positivity into yourself even when you mess up. You know what? I know I fucked up there, but I know that ain't going to happen again. I know better now. I know I'm capable of doing better. Reinforce positivity even though you may have messed up because it's going to change your alternatively you're going to change your perspective of how you're viewing yourself in those moments, which is going to help how you're handling your hangover because you're either going to pour negativity into you fucking up and that's going to make your hangover feel worse because you're making it sound so bad. And you're like, oh, I'm a failure, I'm a fuck up, I'm this, I'm that. The more you keep telling yourself that, the more fuck up and failure moments you're gonna feel. Versus, yeah, I fucked up, it is what it is, but I know better for next time. I ain't doing that shit again. I'm too good for that. You know, pour some type of goodness into yourself in those moments. Give yourself some grace.
I love that, man.
Mic drop.
Oh, yeah. I'm so proud of you, man.
Oh, thanks.
You've just grown so much since we first got together.
If anybody knows that, it's you.
I know. So that's why, just giving you your flowers.
I love you.
I love you.
Thank you.
Yeah, hell yeah. Anytime.
You too.
Thanks, dude.
I'm super proud of you and the man that you've blossomed into.
Thanks.
Quite attractive.
Ooh.
Am I making you blush?
Stop. You're giving me fanny flutters.
All right. What was that? Question 3?
That was my question 2.
Okay.
So this would be your question 2, I believe.
No, I asked you to, I think.
All right. Well, then this could be your last one.
Okay.
And then
Losing
I'll
track.
ask one more, and then we'll take them home.
You threw me off a little bit with your cuteness.
Sorry.
All right. Can you think of a recent time you've experienced in an emotional hangover? And what was the original event or emotion that kind of led to it?
Oh, it's been a minute, man. The last emotional hangover I had was with, a person that I thought was my friend, and I thought we were friends. But slowly but surely, I started to realize that I was being a good friend, and I didn't have a friend. It wasn't the other way around.
Yeah.
Like, I would not look at this person and be like, that's my friend. Because if I call you my friend, I'm giving you a title that tells people that this person's reliable. This person is somebody you could lean on. This is that's what I consider a friend. I consider a friend somebody that's like, I don't know. When I call you my friend, it's very like you're basically family, but we're not blood. Like,
Yeah.
you're somebody that I love, I care for, I would go out of my way for. But also, if you're a friend to me, then it's reciprocated. Like, I can name my friends who I know if I really needed something, or if I picked up the phone call, if the only way they would say no, they couldn't do it for me is if really they physically just couldn't.
Yeah.
So,
And that's okay.
and again, I think that one was the most emotionally draining or the one I would say lingered the most, and maybe
Yeah, I was gonna say it lingered.
kept the the emotional hangover, was because even after everything had happened, I had a hard time
Accepting.
not just accepting, but stopping myself, like disconnecting. Because even then I would still, like, even after being fucking, just not treated fairly, I would still come through because I'm a good person.
I was gonna say you
I,
still would.
I would still do what I still would do what felt right to my character of who I am as a person. Because
But I think that ultimately,
instead of cutting you off and setting boundaries, I would rather just go out of my way and be the good person that I am, because that's just who
yeah.
I felt I needed to be in those moments.
Now, did that leave you feeling like taken advantage of?
Yeah, well, I ended up inadvertently, or I believe is the word I'm looking for.
Inadvertently?
Inadvertently, yes. Inadvertently, I ended up creating resentment. Yeah, I mean, because I'm like,
Yeah, that's the worst thing to have.
I'm being a good person, and then I'm mad because you're taking advantage of it,
Yeah.
which sucks because it's like,
I should have just been like,
I
fuck
should
you.
have just told you to go fuck yourself, and then I wouldn't feel bad. But then I'd feel bad. That's the thing, too, because, again, I would feel bad for telling one of my friends to go fuck themselves because, again,
That's not
just,
who you are.
yeah, like, and again, me and this person just had history, so it was just like a lot, you know what I mean? So it just kind of felt like I had to step back, and I had to set the boundary, really, and the boundary wasn't so much with this person because, again, they are going to be who they are going to be.
Yeah.
Was that my mom?
It was your mom.
That was my mom. Okay. Yeah, I'm not going to Shady Maples again. We're not doing that. So, I love you, Mom. If you're listening to this, not going to Shady Maples. Anyway. But yeah, I was creating resentment for myself because I was being a good person, because I just wanted to be a good person. Like, I don't want to be somebody who people can't call when they need something or something like that. But then again, it's like I'm getting taken advantage of, or when it came time for them to follow through on their word, or for them to be a good person,
They would let you down.
They would let me down every fucking
Yep.
time. So then it kind of started to feel like I was the one who kept putting myself on the ledge and then complaining that it fucking hurt when I'm the one that's jumping off, and then expecting for them to catch me every fucking time. And it's like I had to stop putting myself in the position where my emotions, you know, my emotional outcome was based on how good of a person they were.
Yeah.
So once I had to strip them of that power, pretty much is what the boundary that I had to set, which was I'm no longer going to go out of my way for you. I'm not even going to answer your fucking calls anymore. Honestly, if it has nothing to do with anything else besides us, like if it has anything to do with us, I'm good, bro. I don't want anything to do with that. Anything else is totally fine. We can talk about anything else. Don't ask me for no favors, none of that. I don't want to hear none of that shit. You know what I'm saying? So it was kind of just a boundary I had to set with myself. Like it's almost like strictly business. That's pretty much just what it is.
Yeah.
So yeah, man, that I would say is the most recent one. Other than that, not much. Very, very back to baseline. Very much priorities. Very much shit I have to get done. And even when we have disagreements or arguments, it's very that shit lasts maybe a night for me tops.
Oh, I know.
I'm very like, nigga, I'll go to bed, nigga. Why aren't you snuggling me? Like, I'm like, we could be like 20 minutes after an argument. I'll be like, are you going to come here and snuggle? What the fuck are you doing? And you're like, you're so mad at me. Like, you know, like, what are you talking about? That was like 30 minutes ago. Get over here. You know what I mean? So, yeah, I'm very quick to get to baseline. That's just the resilience. And I learned that a lot from my mom just because, like, you know, you still got shit to do.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Regardless.
I like that.
Hell yeah, man. All right. Sorry, I felt like that answer was really long, and I apologize for taking up a lot of time. If anything, let's just send him home. You want to send him home? We could do that. All right, guys. Sorry for these super long, engaging questions, but that's what we do it for, guys. So this way we can, we just get those thoughts thought out, man. And again, you never know when the why in your story is silent. Yeah. So, you know what I mean? We share because
there's always something relatable to
somebody's listening where it's hitting for them, and they're on the other end of their phone going, man, I'm made of rubber. You know what I'm saying? Like they're doing that on the other side. So, but yeah, guys, so we'll finish it up with a question for all the feelers. You guys know what we do at the end of every episode. So, yeah, man, the question that we want to leave you guys with is, what does an emotional hangover feel like for you, and how do you usually recover from it? Again, drop it in the comments below if you guys see this on YouTube or on the socials, because you never know when the why in your story is silent and it becomes our story. And yeah, man, again, until next time, keep feeling,
keep sharing,
and keep it real.
Whip in the feels,
baby. Woo-hoo. Let's get it.